Asked by a few people to explain a little bit more about the flight attendant bidding process. To some people, this is interesting. To others, just ignore this video entirely. I want to give you a little overview. This is the bid packet for just the domestic lines for November. Lines are schedules for the entire month. I'll show you why they're called lines in just a second. I previously made a video about this and it was like about 10 minutes long, so I'm trying to shorten it here. If you have any other questions, you can just ask me later. But anyway, this is November. Basically, check this thing out. Woo! That is a lot of stuff. I tend to print out the last 30 pages of this on my own to give myself a little extra time because these are the actual lines. You see that these are called lines because they are the month, the entire month, set up in the form of a line. So this is line 1. These are the days of the month, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, set up with their corresponding day of the week, obviously. And then these are the trips. This is the pairing number, the ID number of the trip that shows what details there are for the trip. And this is where it's basically going. These are one-day trips. There are, if you flip back a little bit here, this is an example of a 3-day trip. And 4-day trip, you get the idea. The identifying number for this, the pairing number, is 0632. And that's what all this stuff is. A lot of these are basically just all the extra details of each of these trips. So if you want to know more details about your trip, what time it's leaving, when you get back, what kind of plane you're on, how much flight time you're doing, then you can look up all the extra details of this trip in here. But most of us don't look at those too in-depthly. For the most part, at least initially, we're looking at basic days that we're working and basic days that we are off. This, for example, is a line where you have this Friday and Saturday off, this Monday, this Wednesday, this whole big chunk right here if you need to travel, or if you, hey, want a bunch of extra time to fill up with more trips. Some people who really like to work a lot and want to up their hours. They can get a line like this that has a lot of open time already, and they can cram it full of even more trips. There are little details here. You'll see this is night pay, which means that some of these trips have night flying involved, which is from a certain time at night to a certain time in the morning. It might just leave late or leave early or get in late, or it might be an all-nighter. So I tend to highlight them and then look into them further to discover if they are truly an all-nighter, in which case they are crossed out, baby. Or if they're just a late night trip, which I don't mind. So that's one way that we order things. As far as picking my routes that I want, I don't have tons of seniority. 12 years is not very much. So I can sort of pick what I want, but it's not, you know, fantastic. I'm mostly focusing on the days off that I want and any time that I need to go somewhere, and then anything that might be easily tradable. So for me, I personally like to have Sundays and Wednesdays off, and I kind of like things like 2-day trips or 3-day trips. And sometimes I focus on destination, but it really just depends on what I'm going for the month. So this was November, so I focused on getting the holiday off and then getting any lines that would have given me that sort of thing. So when I decide which lines that I want, I would go here and I would say, I would start to order them as far as what ones are more ideal for me or not. This is a lot of stuff to put into order. So we do have some bid programs that we can pay for that help us out. I tried one for January and it actually worked pretty well. But we'll just order things and then put it in just this a whole list of orders and put it in, and then it's awarded to us based on our seniority. So this month for January, I held, you know, Sundays and Wednesdays off actually, and 2-day trips, which was fantastic, and no all-nighters. So I was a happy girl. November, I didn't do too bad either, and December as well. So I'm at a pretty decent stage where I can kind of hold things that I want. I'm going to turn this around. Hello. We can also do a lot of trading, which is fantastic. With open flying, people who are on vacation or on sick list or something like that, those trips get put into open time. We can, throughout the month, try to pick those up, trade with those, or do other things with them. The more trips that we can drop in our own line and have somebody else pick up, the more availability, obviously, that we have to pick up either from open time or just from flying partners who have trips that they're trying to get rid of. So there's a lot of flexibility. This this month, for example, I think I'm working one trip that was actually in the line I got assigned. So there's a lot of freedom to kind of move things around and make it work for you, and maybe even go places you want to go. I'm actually going to London on Christmas Day. That was not in my line, but hey, I found a way to pick it up.